Welcome to night 4 of the 2024 Deep End Invitational, where our own Adam Krautwurst will be drafting at spot 11. This is the fourth of 4 12-team best ball, super flex, tri-flex, roto-viz. I don't know, but it's been a bunch of fun. Experts. I'm still sort of hungover from the ship chasing experience last night, but glad to be back in the Deep End FF1 stream. Let's go. 8 p.m. Eastern start. Mike Shope, Adam Krautwurst. Welcome to the Deep End.
Michael, I'm ready. This is our baby, the Deep End Invitational. Kudos to you. I haven't really had a chance to. We've been so busy doing this stuff. Kudos to you on really pulling the strings to make this thing happen, make it all these awesome players to come out and join us for all these shows. It's been a blast. I'm glad I get to pick last here to draft last. And I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Almost last. I mean, last league, but 11th out of 12. Right. Nobody better to have behind you than Dwayne, right?
Right. That's right. In fact, it's actually 100% right. Dwayne's one of the best in the business, but I listen to Dwayne every week. So I think I can kind of play off of that, knowing what he's going to do. I'm hoping he listens to us, right, Dwayne? I'm sorry. So you'll know what I'm going to do.
Well, that's, when I met him at the Expo a couple of years ago, I said, I am so conditioned to hearing your voice. This is quite an honor. He's like, likewise. Like, oh, baby, this guy's been listening to WGR for 20 years. I mean,
that's right.
he knows every move we're going to make, I'm sure. But it's a great honor, I think, to you, Adam. You created this league, and we started with Draft Sharks. Now we're on our own at the Deep End, and it's been really fun. Last night on the ship chasing stream with all those guys, and I mean, Scott Pianowski, Scott Connor. There were just so many great players each year in this, and that includes tonight. We'll run it down in just a moment. You have the board. I want to make sure.
I do. Yeah. You're going to pull that up right now, or? Well,
I think so. I mean, I'm already tired of seeing my own face.
That's right. Me too.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
We have the minute, so why don't I run the roster down?
Do it.
In the one spot, our friends Dan Williamson and John Daniel, JD. Dan is the content creator for Player Profiler, Sick'em Bears. Got to know them when they co-hosted the Goat District podcast. JD and I have been drafting this summer together. We met in his neck of the woods, Toronto. Adam, who says neck of the woods anymore?
I do.
Do you really?
And I also say as the crow flies for distance.
Oh. As the crow flies versus the neck of the woods. We need to have a 1930s phrase draft pretty soon. That'll be next year, incorporated in next year's Deep End Invitational. At 2, Dave Tripoli, Dave Terp. Dave is a staple on the FFPC High Stakes Fantasy Hour with Eric Balkman. They've been very good to us. I really appreciate Dave's analysis. He's someone if I'm in a draft and they comment on it, I want to know what he says.
Sure.
So, so far, so good, mostly. Even when I'm pitching Marquez Valdez-Scantling as a late-round dart throw for the Bills. And by the way, changed his number today, still on the team. We'll see what happens.
No, I bought his jersey. Unfortunately, now I got to buy another one,
That's right. 3, Alan Soslowski of RotoWire, one of my favorite sites to use for all sports, RotoWire. In fact, one of my first entry points into fantasy sports was through RotoWire on SiriusXM. Jeff Erickson, Chris Liss, Craig Mish. We wish Alan luck tonight. 4, Patrick Doherty, NBC Sports Edge / Peacock. One of my very favorite listens. I'm excited for Pat being a part of our, project. 5, John Scuderi, former Deep End Invitational champion. I finished second. And by the way, he's a former main event champion at the FFPC. Is that good? He's one of 2. Actually, they're incredibly, in 5 years of our tournament, there are 2 double winners, John and Go Bills. Not bad.
That's right. That's right. And John won it with, he likes to tell you, and he should, he won it with 1 main event entry the year that he won it. So good for him.
Single silver bullet. How about that? At 6 is Mason Spain. This young man has won Dynasty Leagues, a KFF SC League, met with Adam last week in Kentucky Adam is, as we told you last time, one of the very few people ever to get home from Kentucky and then the next day leave for Kentucky. Too good for his home league. Wink emoji. We wish Mason good luck tonight. I don't think he needs it. 7, Theo Gremminger. His name has all but become synonymous with fantasy football and fantasy football content. Player profiler, also now writing dynasty articles for Fantasy Points. Theo, let's do it. Knows his bagels, by the way.
Does he? Okay.
Does he ever? 8, Bip Mandel, one of the absolute worst names, a good thing, you could ever see land in one of your high stakes drafts. I know this from recent years in the Bare Knuckle Challenge. Good luck against Bip. Is Bip doing the Bare Knuckle this year?
So Bip was in Kentucky. I talked to him, and I gotta be honest, I don't think he is. And I think it's just because everyone's draft schedule is super busy out there with the Friday night game. It's like there's not much time to kind of give away to that bare knuckle. But Bip's, like you said, you do not want to see Bip in your draft for sure.
At the 9 spot is Snake Glenn Carrent. He's finished top 10 in numerous contests on different websites, going for the top prize in this tournament of a 2025 FFPC main event entry, which goes to the overall winner this year. At 10, Cody Carpentier. Roster watch. Cody walked in last year, picked Anthony Richardson 101. He was well on his way before Richardson went down. I mean, that could have been an all-time great story. One of the best analysts who blends college player analysis with fantasy relevance. Love having Cody back. I did actually talk to Matthew Collar today, my friend at Purple Insider, and I'm getting a little bit mixed up because, I wanted to say college player, and I said Collar. Good luck to Cody. 11 is Adam, who you know.
That's right.
And 12 is Dwayne McFarland. Matthew Berry's fantasy life. Are you playing fantasy football for real money without actually knowing who Dwayne is?
Right. No,
I hope not. The utilization report is famous in the industry, a must-have every Sunday night for 2 or 3 years at least. After the Sunday night game ends, everybody else goes to bed. I go to Dwayne and Ian Harditz's stream for telling me what actually happened that day. So that is our lineup here in League 4. And Adam, you are on deck. It is 7 quarterbacks in an 8 out of 10. Of course, Cody goes Richardson at 8. What's the plan here?
Christian McCaffrey, 111. I'll take it. I'll lock it in. So the cool thing about this format is it's tight end premium, it's super flex, it's tri-flex. You can build your team any way you want. You want to build it. And it's right back to me again. I mean, I might need to think about this for a second. No, there's 2 guys. So I'll talk it out. I want Bijan or Jaden Daniels. I really love Jaden Daniels, but the thought of having RB1 and RB2 and building off of that sounds really cool.
It's unique, and let's challenge these other 8 quarterback drafters to pick a second one.
Let's do that.
Let's
do that. That's a fun start. That's a fun start. My team might be dead week 3 with injuries, but you know what? We're gonna have fun here in the deep end. That'll be really cool. That's really cool to do. Now, Dwayne and I will be duking it out for quarterbacks the rest of the way, but I'm the gateway. I'm the gate holder to the quarterbacks here at this end of the draft.
I love 11. I've said it for years. I love having one player that you have knowledge about what they've built already behind you. I mean, it's not exactly 2 quarterbacks behind you would have been better, but
Sure.
Okay. And you can build stacks that way. This is so cool. Adam, literally, has anybody ever started a draft with McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson?
Probably not. I did a super flex over at the FFWC tournament this year, and I was at the 12, and I went a Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. That was the closest kind of I think I came to this. So this is, and I really had fun with it, and I liked it. And so, but you said it absolutely right. Force the rest of this room to, they might be listening or not, it doesn't matter. Like force them to take that second quarterback early. If they don't, I think I'm going to be the winner after 4 rounds. I think like I'll be in the lead if I can get the quarterbacks to fall right. And like you said, 11 sweet. When you were in the bare knuckle a couple of years ago, you picked 11 because you wanted to play off of 12. So being able to kind of control the quarterback run here at the end is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and some will do that. I mean, these guys are all so sharp. They're going to try to do what others are not, which is what you did. You're trying to find a way to be different. It's, as we've talked about on these streams, a great Pip.
Pip's not
Uh,
doing it. He's out.
It's a semi-tournament. You're trying to win your league. There's a Fantasy Pros ticket if you do, but you're playing against 3 other leagues. It's not one of these, it's not the best ball tournament at FFPC where you're playing against, tens of thousands of teams or whatever it is. You're playing against 47 others. So there's a little bit of what happened in the other leagues, but then there's also, self-contained. Great balance, I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there too. And how does the sport? I know you're usually really good at remembering stuff like this. I'm terrible, but the first couple last night I'm trying to remember the first 2 drafts, very quarterback heavy, maybe for 6 or 7 picks. How did last night's go? Was it similar?
The one thing I remember about last night, and it might be the only thing, is there were 5 running backs picked in the top 50.
Wow. Well, that's a ship chasing draft for you.
That's right. That's right. As Jacob Sanderson said, call the urologist early.
Yeah.
And he was not wrong.
Right. That's right.
I mean, tight ends go, and it became a really interesting night because those guys, I mean, that's their brand is, pissing yellow, right? Wide receivers. But it did, I mean, there were 5 of them, but it did sort of come over to the Deep End Invitational, and it sort of put the pressure on everybody else. So I don't remember names right now, but there were like starting running backs going in the double-digit rounds. I mean, it was just so one way in that way. I drafted at 108 in the second one, and it was definitely not that extreme. I drafted Derrick Henry in round 6, though.
Yeah, come on. You know how I feel about Derrick Henry. Mason not happy that Bip took his stack early on here in this draft. There's going to be a lot of that going on. But
I went Lamb Prescott.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way,
I mean, I love the Lamb Jaden Daniels start. I'm not going to lie, that's a pretty sweet start. But yeah, you don't really know how. You don't really know what your team's going to even look like until like rounds 5 or 6 because you don't know how the quarterback landscape is going to look. But I think stacking is important, but it's not super important because you said it's not a very big tournament. There's no like, your teams don't go into a tournament bracket at the end. Like you're still within your own league, and winning your league is nice too. You still it's a free roll for a $350 for Fantasy Pros. So you don't have to win the whole thing to make it worth it. But there will be stacking and there will be stack stealing.
This draft started Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Mahomes went 101 last night for the only time he has in this tournament to Scott Connor, who I thought had a tremendous night. CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill go 6-7. CJ Stroud, CeeDee Lamb, CJ Stroud at 8 to Bip. Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson, then Adam with McCaffrey, and Dwayne with Breece Hall in round 1. So no tight ends. And here we have our first to Dan Williamson and John Daniel at 212. Dalton Kincaid with Allen. Makes sense.
I love how you call him John Daniel. I would have no idea you were talking about if I didn't know it was
John. I hope he doesn't mind.
That's right. That's right.
I don't do nicknames very well. I mean, I feel like I have to know the person so well that I can just call them by their nickname. Like in Buffalo forever, you would hear Shady or Motor. I mean, imagine being an adult and calling these people Shady and Motor if you don't know them.
Right.
I could never do that.
How many episodes before you called Chris the Bulldog? A couple of years? Like how
No, they made me. Like that was something that was part of the deal.
Yeah.
He I don't know if he would still say this or remember it this way, but he he would just shrug his shoulders like that's what it is,
It is. It is.
I'm the Bulldog. But he seems at peace with it.
But the Allen Kincaid stack, back to that. I mean, they probably don't think, and maybe they do think that Kincaid's going to be the tight end 1. But even if you think he's going to be the tight end 3, you want to get that stack like we were just talking about. I like that start. That's another fun start. You get 2 top quarterbacks. You get Dalton Kincaid, and then you kind of see how the board falls from there. So that's really cool for them. Pick 2, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown to Dave. He gets that.
Is he wearing his Eagles jersey as he drafts this team?
Of course he is. He should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's they're doing now that stack and they're doing the right kind of fun things there at the end. and we'll see how it plays out.
Dave takes Kelsey at 302 in front of Alan Seslowski, who had Mahomes. Not sure how well that went over.
That's right. Probably not well.
Alan takes Jonathan Taylor. You really find out in the third round, the fourth round, how important players think stacking is. I've seen some good teams, even last night, build their stacks sort of down the road a little bit. I think I might have done Darnold and Addison in mine. You sort of have to always be head on a swivel when it comes to that. The Kyler Murray team, John Scuderi, takes Harrison and McBride. So, I mean, that is Cardinals season over there at Team 5.
Yeah.
I love that. When you and I talked before my draft, I told you that's what I wanted to do.
Yes, you're right. You did. Where were you? What pick were you? 8. So,
but then if I remember right, I came off Murray to draft Lamb because I thought maybe starting non-quarterback was better. So I gave up that idea with that pick. But when we talked that day, I'm like, Murray, Harrison, McBride is gettable, and John just proved it.
Yeah, for sure. And happy for him. He's a great drafter. Again, main event champ, won this before. It's fun to see like plans come into place like that for people, whether it's positional, whether it's stacking a specific team, whether it's kind of getting your guys type of thing. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. And so far so good for my strategy. I'm not gonna lie. It's looking decent because, like you said, you got to push these guys to take 2 quarterbacks early. It's a unique format, right? So it's like, anyone could go any way, and that's what makes it like exciting to see kind of what falls to you.
There are so many good players in here. I mean, just the very best. Snake takes Burrow and Chase to start. Yep. Cody sitting on Richardson and Amon-Ra St. Brown at 10. We're at 309. Snake takes Achane.
I almost called that out. I know Snake well. Snake's a great drafter from the FFWC as well. I knew he was going to take Achane. Great pick. I like Achane this year.
You love him, but you were never taking him to start 3 running backs at 11. So you don't mind that.
So it helps me. Exactly. For sure.
Adam is on deck at 311 in night 4 of the Deep End Invitational. We'll see what happens here. Cody Carpentier on the clock at 310. We are at Deep End FF1. This is the 4th of these 4 drafts. Overall winner gets a ticket to the main event in 2025 at the FFPC. Adam is on the clock. Each other league winner takes down a Fantasy Pros Championship ticket for next year. It's the combination, like it's a free roll for these experts, and you're playing for a prize. You got an hour and a half for that. I bet a lot of people do, but also it's a chance to show your plumage against other great players. And I think that's one of the most fun pieces. I was very new at this when we started this tournament, and I got second to John Scuderi 2 years ago. And that's the best I've ever done in any fantasy format, even though it paid almost nothing.
Anytime I can show my plumage, I definitely want to do that for sure.
Puka Nacua at 311 to Adam with McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. Dwayne wastes no time. Breece Hall, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Mark Andrews. Where does that leave you, Lawrence?
I love Lawrence. I love the way that just fell there too. It's again another thing fun. I'm getting Puka Nacua at the 311. I love Superflex. Declared healthy today. That's the thing. Like I was assuming he was healthy anyways. It wasn't really bothering me to take him, but I mean, he was, before the knee bursa sack, I think is what it was. He was, Mike, you remember, he was a 7th, 8th, 9th overall pick. And now it's like, you're able to get him as the, obviously the Superflex is
wide receiver 10.
Yeah. He's been falling in the middle of the second round. Like I still love Puka there. I'm happy to take him, and it's going to be interesting. Dwayne's playing with fire. I'm not going to lie, because coming back around, I'm going to be taking quarterbacks. We'll see. He must have a tier that he really likes.
I mean, last night on the ship chasing stream, players did get really stuck when it came to quarterback. But I kind of think, you tell me if you think I'm wrong. When you're playing against the very best players in the field, I tried this in my tournament last Thursday. I think everybody sort of deep down wants to wait on quarterback, or at least quarterback 2, because there's a little bit more of a chess game in that. And that, of course, if I'm right, I'm not sure I am, but that can mean that somebody takes advantage by pounding quarterback. So it's the game within the game that sort of never ends and never quite gets settled. Last night, Scott Connor at 101 started with 3 quarterbacks, and I thought everything sort of fell perfectly for him in that draft. I told you earlier how happy or excited I was about that team. So, but I think, great players want to see if they push quarterback, what happens.
Yeah, and I think it's you can build a super team when you push quarterback, because then if the quarterbacks do slip to you, then you've already got the stud skill guys to go along with those quarterbacks that can start for you. It's a little bit harder to build a super team when you start quarterback, but it's a lot safer. It's a lot easier to build a team QB, and it's also fun from the perspective, if you don't play a lot of super flex, it's your opportunity to go ahead and get 2 really cool quarterbacks and kind of roll them out there every single week.
As we go along here in round 4 of league number 4, draft number 4, the Deep End Invitational, we'll take a quick time out here. Mike Schoep with Adam Krautwurst. Here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, it's the Podfather. I have great news. The draft kit is live. It is world famous. Why? Because it is the best resource for winning fantasy football championships that exists. There are rankings and cheat sheets for every format you can imagine. We have projections both at the team level and the player level. And wherever you are, you can click on a player, open them up, and see in-depth written analysis about what to expect in fantasy football from that player this year. And then you can click on the team and you can get even more in-depth analysis, all the drivers of fantasy production, both in a positive and negative direction for that team, including a signature trend. And the graphics are incredible. So these team insights, they give you the team level projections, the vacated targets, the vacated ARs. And we added a bunch of features. Individual cheat sheets for Theo and Billy and Dario. So you could take your favorite analyst and download their personal draft cheat sheet. And then in the commissioners section, Memphis Young lays out everything you need to know to manage a league, the best minds in the industry contributing analysis. It's certainly not the most inexpensive draft kit on the market, but it is the best. Playerprofiler.com/draft kit, playerprofiler.com/draft kit. Go get it.
Mike, where can I find your personalized cheat sheet? Where can we find that?
I just use Matt's. Why would you want to do your own if you didn't have the 10, brilliant minds at the Player Profiler team? What's the point of doing your own? I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
End of round 4, the 4-5 turn in the Deep End Invitational League number 4. Dan and JD in the 1 spot, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, Caleb Williams. There is a receiver whose name I have not seen yet. There was news about this evening.
Yes, there is.
I have been drafting this summer as if Brandon Ayuk was never leaving the 49ers. I think that is what usually happens. Of course, you can get burned sometimes. We had the wave from, July into August where there was more speculation. The trade destinations speculated about for Ayuk were not favorable to him as a fantasy asset. So I think for the most part, the best case scenario for him was always to stay in San Francisco, and he will after today's news that he signed a big contract there. So I don't know. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a host. We sometimes talk about what's happening in these drafts, and I know people are listening, and I'm not trying to, undercut anybody, but he is the news of the night or the, the last few hours or few weeks, even Ayuk. And I wonder how in these final days before kickoff, his draft status, ADP, will change, if much at all.
Yeah, everyone in here knows the news about our guy Ayuk. I never was really worried about any of the receivers this year, CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk, as far as like them signing them, ending up in a good spot. My only concern is like the soft tissue injuries. Like, what type of shape are they in? They're not in training camp. CeeDee Lamb says he'll be fine. He'll be ready to go. Brandon Ayuk, I haven't really heard him talk yet. Not that he's going to say anything different, but there has been issues in the past with guys that have held out or held in or whatever, and soft tissue injuries. So I'm just going to be a little bit more nervous to kind of take guys like that early on in the season, but I'm not going to really drop them too much in the rankings because you don't want to give anyone else that great value either. So we'll see.
In the middle of round 5, here is Mason with one quarterback so far, Jaden Daniels, to go with CeeDee Lamb in the first round, Saquon Barkley, Kyren Williams at the 3-4. Kyren Williams, famed punt returner for the Rams. I don't care about that at all, Adam, as I said last night. Do you?
I care. Let me see. I'm a huge whatever, I'll say it. Doesn't matter. This is fun. I'm a big Blake Corum guy this year. And so I much prefer them saying Kyron's going to return punts than Blake Corum's going to return punts, because I think that, and the word coming out of camp now is that maybe it won't be a 1-2 backfield. It'll be a 1A, maybe 1C backfield there for the Rams. And so I like hearing that in the sense that, like, maybe they don't, even what Sean McVay said it himself. It's like, we can get away with putting him there because we like our backfield. So as a Blake Corum guy that's been taking him from the beginning, I love to hear that.
You can't go from 1A to 1C. Can you go all the way to like 1G?
No.
If you want to, I mean, are we doing hundredths of a second here? Can you go to 1A to 1Z B? You can't do that. It's either 1-2
You did it.
or it's 1A, 1B. I mean, that's just out of line.
Consider it done.
Nico Collins at 19. I mean, that's pretty good. Wide receiver 19 at 505. My 5th round pick is still on the board. I was very excited about the value that I got last week at that spot, but I guess it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I mean, he fell here too. It's interesting. Some weeks, some drafts you see, you got firm believers in Nico as the alpha number 1, no doubt. I don't know. There's a lot of talent there, and they didn't throw the ball a ton last year. So, it could be a situation where none of them kind of performed to their ADP, but he's a great receiver, good young offense. We will see.
Snake goes Burrow, Chase, Higgins.
Love
with
it.
Achane and Pitts. Cody is on the clock at 110. We'll see what he does. Richardson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne. He knows that the teams behind him have a total of 1 quarterback, and he does not have a tight end. They have a total of 1 tight end. He takes Matthew Stafford, quarterback 17 at 5'10 at the, yeah. 5'10.
All right.
There's Cousins. There was my 5th round pick that I felt so good about at 508, and now you get him at 5'11.
To go with Bijan, not that that's a pure stack there, but oh my God, he's still put. I almost want to
Love
punish
it.
Wayne.
Love it.
Punish him.
Look, I mean, I'll talk while you draft. 8 quarterbacks went in the first round. We are into round 6, and only 10 more have been picked. So you had players here who thought it was vital, especially early in the first round, to get their number 1. Oh, I love this pick. And then after that, we're just going to, like I said before, I think this is how great players want to play the game, is let me see how long I can wait. And again, if other players are doing that, like say Pat Doherty at 4, then you get your second one and you don't worry about it for an hour.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. That's kind of what I did with running back. Just bang, bang, and now I'm not going to worry about it for 2 hours. And so
how many running will you end up with? Starting with McCaffrey, Bijan.
Honestly, I've never had a situation like this before. So we'll see. That's one that I'll be pushing and pushing. Say, hey, listen, if McCaffrey and Bijan stay healthy, I might only have 2 running backs on the team if they stay healthy. Super or best ball. I don't know if we mentioned that yet. It's best ball, so we don't have to set.
I think there were teams last night that ended with 5.
Yeah, I could see 5. I could see 5 for sure.
You can't go to 4. You can't name that tune in 4 notes. Has the podcast ever sounded older than a name that tune reference? You can't name this tune in 4 notes. The challenge here is for you, Adam, as you know, is whether it's this tournament, almost any competition this year, if you start running back, or especially 2, what do you do in the middle rounds when all those running backs look so good.
I know.
I mean, rounds 8 through 14 or 8 through 12. There's so many, like, I don't want to name names yet, but potential starters, and you kind of feel like you can't draft them because of how you started and what you need at other positions.
Yeah, I mean, what I've done the last 4 rounds, I just haven't even pulled up the running back tab. So I don't even. I mean, there could have been the craziest value in the world there, but I knew I couldn't do it. I didn't want to tempt myself. Yeah, I mean, eventually it's going to come to the point where we get to, let's say, RB 18 versus wide receiver 42. You know, like that type of thing. I'll probably still be taking receivers because I only have one. But excuse me. But I think that. Just banking on McCaffrey and Robinson being my guys the whole season. Then just kind of picking some guys later is probably the best thing to do. Brock Bowers, we haven't really talked a lot about Bowers this offseason. He was kind of banged up. They say now that he's fine for week 1, foot's feeling good. I needed a tight end premium. I couldn't wait another 2 rounds. My early regret so far, although I like Puka, was probably, if I could go back, I would have gone maybe Evan Ingram, Trevor Lawrence. But it depends on how Brock Bowers does. So we'll see on that. Michael's gone. Just me. All right. He'll be back, everybody. Don't worry about it. But yeah, Bowers, I think, would be the guy that I would like out of this rookie tight end class. He's an all-time athlete, an all-time player at the position, and so I'm happy to do it for sure. I'm happy to add him to my team. Let me pull up the draft board here. While Mike gets back in here, shares. But yeah, and then maybe we'll get some guests coming in. All right, there we go. So this is the draft so far. Wrong one, naturally. But yeah, no, we're gonna have fun tonight with this for sure. Share this tab instead. All right, we got it. But my team so far: Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Puka Nacua, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Brock Bowers. I love that start for me. I got 2 quarterbacks I like. I really love Trevor Lawrence this year a lot. He had really bad touchdown luck last season, and so I was happy to get him as QB 14, usually about where he goes. And I was sure Dwayne was going to take a quarterback there, so I didn't take one. Or sorry, I took one before him to make sure I didn't lose out. Michael, are you back?
Am I? I hope so.
You are. Welcome back, my friend.
Oh man, this is tough.
Did you lose power over there or what?
I didn't lose power, but I also haven't lost my teenagers. I'm going to jump back on the computer. Hopefully this works.
Do
okay.
It. Yep. You got it, buddy. You got it. There we go. Live back.
That's not fair to them. What do they do?
Right.
They're just living playing Fortnite for 17 hours a day. Why is that their fault? Like, what kind of who were their parents?
That's right. That's right. Listen, Fortnite can be fun. Let's just start over. Ready? Let's. Oh, welcome back.
Wow, what a night. Welcome to the deep end. Let's meet our players. Dan Williamson, Baylor Sikkim Bears. JD.
That's right.
Dave Turp.
I was just going.
What did I miss? We have an auto pick.
You missed me talking about Trevor Lawrence's bad touchdown luck last year. You had me talking like underlying metrics and stuff for like two minutes, unfortunately.
Oh. That's like you dropping off and I talk about flag football or being a member at Ridgemont Country Club.
That's right. Brock Bowers. What do you think of Brock Bowers? That's what I was asking you that question, and then you left me.
Love it. I mean, you have work to do, which you sign up for once you start running back. But
that's right.
Get your one. And I think Bowers comes, close enough. I think you could probably, it's 20 rounds. So I think you could probably draft 3 tight ends in the last 5 rounds.
I could.
And catch up at receiver.
We could definitely do that. There's a couple of things I like here. I like, you know what? One of the advantages to being at the end of a round at the turn is catching up. I find is easier to do because you can go bang at a position. Hopefully, it's 2 guys that you really like. Then you're able to kind of go from there. So I kind of like being at the end. So I'm able to do stuff like that.
I'm getting word from my 14-year-old son that the internet dumped out right when he stopped playing Xbox.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I am texting him now to say, get back in there.
Misinformation. Okay. Got it.
Well, I don't know. I can't prove that.
Right.
Get back in there. Start
Get
playing
back-
Xbox again. See what
Get in
happens.
there. Summer vacation. Come on.
So we're at 7:09, and the last third of these drafters have a total of 5 quarterbacks through 6 rounds.
Yep.
There's work to do there, and we're not exactly yet out of starters. We're at quarterback 23 in Baker Mayfield being Mason Spain's third. So there are options, but we're near a point, and there goes Will Levis at pick 709, quarterback 24. We're at a point now where it's getting late for actual NFL starting QBs.
Yes, and we're at a point where Dwayne has to ask himself, does he know that he, of course he knows this is super flex. He's a professional drafter.
But you can't hurt him by drafting receivers, which I think you're going to want to do. You can't, unless you go for quarterback 3, and then you're going to have a problem with him.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Kirk goes.
Oh, that's who I was going to take too.
I figured Kirk was your pick
Kirk was my
at
pick.
7:10 to Cody.
Cody, you don't even
Well-
like Christian Kirk. Knock it off. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Let's go.
I want to guess.
I mean, there are receivers that I like here. That's what's fun. That's what's fun when we get here. It's not even about like I don't like anybody. It's
I want to guess.
I like. Oh, go ahead. I got him queued up. So go ahead and guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Odunze.
No.
Oh, okay.
Chris Godwin. I like him. Back to the slot. Back where he belongs. Target monster. I like Deontay Johnson was my other
Oh, come on, Dwayne.
option.
Don't let
So
us
there
down.
we go.
Oh, Bryce Young. Okay, well, it's a stack. That's good.
I guess. All right. Back to me again. I was actually going to take, I thought he was going to double tap quarterback. I was going to take Deontay Johnson there.
Add him up at 8:02. The world is watching.
The world.
He has Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Boomer Zoomer start of McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson,
Boomers.
Luka, Godwin, and then Bowers. He's all over the place here, but we love it. It's unique. Adam has finished top 2 in this tournament before, league winner, top 5 in the main event. Let's see what happens. I threw a name out there. It could be bad for business, but I don't know.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm thinking about it. I like this guy.
See
He's
what
one of my
happens.
guys this year. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. JSN.
JSN, good pick.
We're gonna go JSN. Talented player, looks good in this offseason. New offense, spread offense, new offensive coordinator. Getting passes more than a yard from the line of scrimmage, and also just betting on year 2 wide receiver breakouts. So I think I'm happy to do that.
Justin Fields goes at quarterback 26 at 8:04. Last night, he also went before all the starters had dried up, but not this dramatically. What do you think about picking Fields at all at this stage of the game in fantasy football?
Yeah, Russell Wilson stinks. I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine. I mean, what did he get him as QB?
26.
26. Fine. I mean, that's the type of pick you want to make in this tournament, because eventually, I mean, we're not playing. Well, this is a little bit different. This is a season-long cumulative points, but you're not generally playing for week 1. You're playing for the end of this season. I think Fields will eventually take over the job and eventually run with it. No pun intended. But he didn't look good in the preseason. But again, it's neither did Anthony Richardson. We care about the rushing yards and the rushing upside.
By the way, Adam, is this your board that you're streaming?
Yes.
You can have mine if you want it. It's also available to you.
Okay. It fell off when you fell off. So if you want to add it back,
Oh, okay.
I'm more than happy to.
You're right.
To do that. But
Sorry about that.
no, it's fine.
It's my son's fault.
That's right. That's right.
We've established that.
Summer vacation fortnight. All right.
And he's watching.
Of course he is.
No, he's not watching.
Oh, it's terrible.
There. Better? Good?
You're in charge now. You are in charge, my friend.
Theo, let's talk about Team 7. Jordan Love, Justin Herbert. No running backs through 8 rounds. Okay. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Devontae.
Oh no. Oh no. I think we lost him again. He was talking about Theo, Tyreek, Jordan Love, Sam Laporta, Olave, Devonta Smith, Herbert, Tank Dell Worthy. Interesting. Theo's NFFC is showing by him drafting all those receivers, but it's fun though. Let's have fun with this tonight. Push running back, see what happens, and see if he can get some running backs later on to follow to him also. Let's talk about Roto Pat. Took one of the few teams that took quarterback to start. Lamar and Purdy gets the upside rusher, gets the kind of the pocket passer there. So that's kind of fun too, to be able to do that. Gibbs, I love Gibbs this year. For sure, I like that as well. Let's see. Gibbs was a big guy I was high on last year. Metcalf takes him as wide receiver 15. He's usually between wide receiver 20 and 24 every year, but new offense, new coordinator. So that's an upside pick for him as well. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out for him. Jake Ferguson is just a target monster for the Cowboys. And we'll see how that goes. He's back. Mike's back, everyone. Get off the Fortnite, youngster. Get off the Fortnite. You know. Are you there, Mike? Can you hear
At
me?
least this is happening on the other end of the board.
That's right. Not while I'm picking. For sure. At least this didn't happen on ship chasing last night. That'd have been a nightmare. A nightmare and a half. So there goes Roma Dunze finally. Roma Dunze to overhyped goats. 4 receivers, 1 running back, Joe Mixon. I don't know how I feel about Joe Mixon this year. I want to like him, but I just feel like he's a little bit older. We'll see how that works with Mixon. The offense makes sense for him. The Texans offense will be really, really good. I think it's about passing volume for me with the Texans.
I'm sorry about this.
Listen, good thing I love my team. We're good.
I texted my son, dumped again. His response, classic. Like, thanks.
Thanks, son.
Thanks. Why don't you just stay offline for 5 minutes?
Right.
You're the 4th league of the Deep End Invitational.
Listen, I keep hearing 70 years ago we sent a rocket ship to the moon, and here we are in 2024, and the internet's dropping all over the world. Okay, so I don't know.
What podcast are you listening to that puts that number on 70
don't
years?
know what to believe. I don't know what to believe anymore. But it's good to have you back. You know, what podcast listener puts it on 70 years? I
mean, why would you think of 70? What are you, 1954?
Anything before 1984 is 70
is this
years.
Joe Rogan? What are you listening to that's telling you 70 years? Like, where did you come up with that? All right. What's the plan for the rest of the night?
Let's get
for your team.
For me, it's tight end receiver. We all know what I'm looking to do here. We all know what I'm looking. I'm glad that only 1 tight end has gone so far between my last 2 picks, so I can maybe nab something here that I like. So it is tight end premium. I don't want to get blocked out too badly on that for sure. But I'm also not I mean, if I take a quarterback here, I'm trying to let me look here. There's just not a quarterback. I mean,
we're at 30.
Dwayne might be dead if I take quarterback here, and I don't want to do that to him. But you know,
you should.
I'm sorry.
You should. I mean, if you don't know who the player is, that makes it different. Like you're sort of you could
feasibly
want to do that.
I mean, there's options, and I could go like, and then we could just talk about whatever. I could go Drake May because there's still stackable options for Drake for Drake May. So
he went in round 5 last night.
Did he really?
Yep.
Wow. But there's some receivers that I really like. If I don't go May, I don't get another one really. Howell. You know what? For your sake, I know you love stacking Drake May. We're going to do that for you. Okay. We're going to do that for you. Immediately, Brian.
It's content.
It's content for sure. Immediately.
Now he's taking Brian Thomas after.
Yeah. Just to spite me, because he
Maybe.
knew.
Maybe.
Literally- maybe.
I'm going to make sure. I think Drake May went 5-3 to Pat Kerrane last night. That's his guy. So
I love it. I love this. This is so much fun. Let me see.
the best players in fantasy football that we know of playing for free, but with enough of a stake to make them want to sort of like the so-called truth serum. You know, you're playing you're really everybody has been in the draft early, like the whole tournament. Nobody skipped it. We got rid of the people who skipped it. And so like you're sort of locked in, you care about it, but it's also like, if I lose, I lose. And it is confirmed. May went 503 last night, and tonight he goes 9-11.
Oh my God, what a steal. I mean, he's a Justin Fields guy, right? Like he's not gonna play the whole season, but he looks pretty. I gotta give it to you.
I
Like
think he looks great.
You were ahead of me on that for sure this offseason. I was probably wrong in fading him a bunch, but a lot of the teams we did together, we have him, so that's always nice. That's why it's good to draft with smart people. But I think he's going to end up being something this year with a little bit of that rushing upside, but we'll see.
Yeah, you know, last night on Ship Chasing, I asked the question, over under, what week does he start? And Pat jumped in and said, he starts week 1.
Wow, there you go.
And, you know, I never thought so. I mean, that was a really difficult situation. It always seems to me, and I think to many, right, to start the high drafted rookie quarterback immediately. Like Chicago and Washington didn't give two thoughts to it. Like they both did that, especially Chicago. But maybe the New England situation is so far gone, pass protection, overall skill talent. They're just thinking that he would suffer for having to play, in which case, I mean, I don't really blame them. They play the Jets early. They play the 49ers early. I mean, that could just be death to a rookie quarterback. They don't want to get him killed. So good luck to Jacoby Brissett. But normally I would criticize a team for not starting their 3rd overall pick week 1. Richardson, I wanted it. I mean, I think usually that's the way to play it. But with the Patriots, it sounds like it might be better this way.
Yeah, that is the way to do it. The way that you just said it for sure. And you know, it's some great quarterbacks have sat behind quarterbacks for even a little bit. Mahomes for a year, Rodgers for a couple of years. Like it can work for these guys, especially when the team isn't ready. I mean, we have more instances of quarterbacks going in, you know, Carr, and you know the list goes on and on of number 1 overall picks that get on these teams. Bryce Young, Sam Darnold. The teams are terrible. That's why they have the first pick generally. So, and then they go out there and they get shell shocked and their careers are ruined. So I think it's smart for them to sit him. But anyways, as far as this draft's concerned, being able to take him and then get the stacks later, because when you get super flex, you can take your quarterback first and then stack him later. Most drafts, it's the other way around. You take your skill guys and hope the quarterback falls to you. So here we are in the 9th round. I'm still able to get stackable options for him afterwards, which I'm excited about. And Mike is definitely excited about too, for sure. Right, Mike? That's right. But yeah, I had to go get a tight end. Dalton Schultz, a guy I'm not really on this year, but sometimes you just got to take players that you don't love to kind of fill that void at tight end. Usually it's a position of need. Bowers and Schultz, don't love that as my tight end combo yet this year. It's not over. I could still grab some more tight ends, but being able to take those top 2 stud running backs there early has always been the way to go. Take them early, lock it in something like this, and go from there. So I was able to do that. We'll see how the rest of the draft pans out with tight ends and quarterbacks and receivers for myself. Dwayne does get at the 12th hole, gets Bryce Young, gets Gardner Minshew, and a super flex. He's going to be way behind at quarterback, way behind. And that's even if they're decent, if Young and Minshew are decent. So, you know, he's gonna need a big pop out of them. His receivers will be awesome. He can start, I think, 5 of them. So he's gonna have to. But so we'll see about that. And then So yeah, we'll see how that works out for him. We'll see how it works out for me here. And I think everyone's got 3-3-2. I think everyone's got at least 2 quarterbacks. Most teams have 3. And so I think we're kind of getting to the end of that run here, QB 33 and 32. That's it. I don't know when they went the other nights, Mike, as far as like when the last quarterbacks were kind of taken in the run here. But round 10 looks like it.
I'm so sorry for dropping out again. We'll
yeah, let's do these.
We'll press on.
Yeah, for sure.
You can make this work. I mean, 2 running backs, 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks that are going to start the vast majority of games through 9. Bowers and Schultz are a nice little combo. And then 3 receivers, JSN high upside. So I think you're live here.
What are your thoughts on Schultz? He's a guy that I haven't really had much of because I either take the ones before him or I take the ones after him. He's kind of the guy that kind of gets lost in the middle. I just feel like there's too many mouths to feed there. But there's something to be said about a safety valve tight end that's always open 7-yard out routes. I mean, look at Jason Witten did it his whole career. What are your thoughts on Schultz?
You're going to need touchdowns. I mean, if their offense is perfect, and I think it might help you if Mixon breaks. So then Schultz might be in a better position for touchdowns. You've got 3 elite receivers and a great quarterback. It makes sense. I don't like drafting him usually because I think once you get past Bowers, everybody is pretty much comparable. Right. Like you saw Conklin go in that round, Hawkinson go in that round who might not play until Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I really don't want to. I have a lot of other teams, like best ball teams, where I draft the 1 tight end. I want to get one of the better ones. You did. And then I draft your Parkinsons and Theo Johnsons and Jatavion Sanderses and Ertzes, like just pile it on that way. That's how I prefer it.
Yeah, and that's what I would normally do. But in this, being at the end and it being best ball, like I didn't want to pass again. I completely understand. And then all of a sudden 6 of them go. And now I'm down to, now I have to double tap the position. And what if I like another player there? So I completely agree. I do have Schultz a little bit ahead of Conklin, and Hawkinson doesn't really fit this build either because I don't want to wait as my tight end too.
I think you got to hold on tight right now at receiver. Like you're seeing in round 11, Shakir, Marquise Brown, Coleman, Addison go in the first 5 picks of the 11th round. Yep. And like you've had 8 receivers go since you picked Schultz. You got to hold on tight. And I don't know if Dwayne's just going to play this all night, but he's got 6 already. So maybe you can get away with what happens behind you. But it's nervous time for me with your team at receiver, as well as you're doing. You can get away with this. Like I love how you started, but I want to make sure that I have receivers here that there goes Palmer. Will probably play. Like you're approaching Gabe Davis territory.
Oh God, you never want to approach Gabe Davis territory. That's for sure. I'm going to be hitting receiver for sure coming up here. And it's crazy. Like I say that now I'm going to actually go look for the first time at the running back tab.
There's nothing else you really need to do. I mean, running backs, you saw Montgomery, Tony Pollard goes at 11. He's a sure starter for an interesting team. Like that's the 11th round.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Like it's like the best player available is a running back for sure. But it's like you kind of pigeonhole yourself. Although I could get away. I do have 3 receivers. I could get away with 1 running back here, to be honest with you.
There's only 1 behind you.
Right. Exactly. So I might.
That's amazing too.
I might just do that.
I mean, Dwayne is out on his scooter, trolling around Dallas. He's got his feet up on the handlebars and just sort of like, oh, is it my turn? Fireworks are going off. He's got a sparkler. Like this is it is playtime for this man.
What a weekend.
What a week. It's holiday weekend. We're starting early in the free roll, the deep end invitational, on the wheel. Who wants that?
No.
I got that on Saturday in the Fantasy Pros. I hate it. I mean, this is a tough year. I never want to say that. You want to sort of be, swim against the stream. But, man, this year at 12 is not the best.
It's definitely not the best. And just to go to show you how people feel about the 12 in Kentucky, where I go draft this last weekend, Love Farrell does a great job out there. You use your fab budget to bid on your draft position, and it's
Love
third
that
round.
idea.
It's third round reversal. So a lot of the times the top 2 picks go for the most, and then 11 and 12 go for the most because you get that third round coming back sooner. 11 and 12, nobody wanted him this year. You got him for $10.
Wow.
And nobody wanted him because you get to that, like, it's like the top 10 really, maybe 11, and then 12 is just, it's hard. I was talking to Theo earlier about the pick 12. It's tough. You can't really, it's hard to make things happen. Obviously, this is super flex tight end premium. FFPC is a little bit easier because you can get kind of sexy and take the tight ends in there, but unless it's the tight end premium, it's a lot harder to do for sure.
Yeah, I mean, anybody doing underdog drafts all summer, once you get past the 2 running backs, even you might even be like as soon as Robinson and Hall go, but they usually last a little bit. You know, there's a tier and then there's another tier, but you get to that end of the first round, second round, there's 6, 7 receivers that feel like they're all the same. So Jonathan Brooks, very interesting.
Luxury
at 11-11.
Yeah, Dwayne doesn't care. Dwayne's making the right picks now for sure. I don't mean Dwayne's the best. He's just right next to me, and I'm playing off of him, which is why we're talking about it. But there's no reason for him to take a quarterback now. His eggs are all in the basket of Young and Minshew, so he takes 2 good running backs there. Mike, do I go for that? Do I go for the receiver I like more, or do I go for the stack? What do I do here, Mike? What do I do? I think I'm going to go with the upside.
Mooney. No?
Yeah. You're right.
Bam.
That was the
Still
stat.
got it. Still got it.
Still got it.
Who was the other choice?
Is he going to come back around? No, he's probably not going to come back around.
Are we going to come back around?
No, we're not coming back around. Dontavian Wicks would have been my other choice, but Mooney was the smart play. Mooney was the smart play with Cousins.
Yeah, don't you think you need to sort of kill it on a couple of these combos or, less famous picks, if you will, to win?
Yeah, whenever. So listen, in
Wicks.
super flex, tight end premium like this, you can't crush it at every position. You kind of got to, I don't want to say punt, but you kind of got to be weak at a position and cross your fingers. And the way to do that at receiver is to get the stacks with your quarterback and have the receivers kind of pop in the right games, that type of thing. So you're not playing. It's not a player take. It's more of a roster build kind of bet. And so, yeah, the idea now is maybe we give up a little bit more upside of a Dontavian Wicks, for an example, because we want to have that stack with Cousins and Mooney and Bijan there. So, yes, that's kind of the way you make up for it at receiver. My only concern with my team is if Bowers is so unproven, is if I'm weak at receiver and at tight end, I could be in big trouble.
I love Bowers. That's your bet. I mean, Bowers is your bet in this tournament this year. Every team out of 12 through 11 rounds has either 2 or 3 quarterbacks. As it gets later, you will see, backups go. And there are a half dozen of those backup quarterbacks that seem like they might be in position to play, depending on how these teams are built, where they'll end up being a couple teams with 4. Last year, I ran so bad in this draft that I drafted Aiden O'Connell, who,
That's right.
I mean, who heard of him? And Malik Cunningham last year were on my team. And, spoiler, I didn't win.
Listen, you win some, you lose some. Does this show sound any older than
you play to win? Nobody cares if you finish third in this thing or
no one
last.
remembers.
Same thing.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You hope to stay in it, and then that gets interesting. A lot of these players have hundreds, if not thousands, of best ball teams, and I don't know. Everybody's different, but you go through the year, and you look in like you did with baseball. You look in every once in a while, like, oh, I'm live. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That is cool. And that's the fun about best ball. And it's amazing to me. We're such a high stakes, high volume podcast bubble. I have so many friends in home leagues that don't even know what a lot of these like FFPC and FFWC, the World Championships, the best ball there, the best ball and underdog. Like they don't even really heard of it. It's like, oh my God, you guys would love it. You guys it would just be crazy. for sure. So no, he's gone again. All right, we're gonna end this, folks. We're gonna end this. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all the contestants in the Deep End Invitational. Thank you for everyone showing up and showing out. We will post the board. Good luck to everyone. This is our last podcast of the season before week 1 starts. I'll be in Vegas next week. I'll see you guys all in Vegas. It was great to see you guys in Kentucky and all the FSGA stuff. So good luck on your drafts this weekend. And hey, let's go kill it next week. And I'll see you guys in Vegas. See you guys.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.